we generally have pre-negotiated rates with the clients, so we don't even need to put the price down. So it's more of a receipt on pickup, and then every month I send out a billing invoice to get paid.
And I think the billing comes from you're looking at getting QuickBooks, right? Is that what the?
Yeah, currently I'm doing I'm for the bookkeeping using GNU Cash and Google Sheets for the receivables part of it and the invoicing.
Okay.
So we're going to switch over to Quick. Sorry, go ahead.
What was that first system you said besides Google Sheets?
He's thinking of getting QuickBooks later on. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, GNU Cash was the first one, and then switching over to QuickBooks. Now that we're grown and definitely need to step things up. GNU Cash was great when our businesses were a lot smaller, but they've grown quite a bit now.
Okay, so my understanding from Mark and Mark is you have Android phones and you'd like to add a Bluetooth printer of some sort so that our product is called Inventory Pro or Inventory Pro Mobile. You probably want Inventory Pro Mobile to print a receipt in the field.
Yeah.
Okay. How often do you show up at a brand new customer, or are your customers pretty much this? You know the different dairies and feedlots, and they're in. You're not really entering new customers very often, right?
No, we get every couple of months we'll pick up somebody, but it's not something that changes a whole lot. I mean, we more often what happens is dairies and feedlots restructure, and we have to deal with new names or new management. But
right.
We're not like a storefront or anything like that. It stays fairly consistent month to month.
So the receipt that you're giving the dairy or the feedlot when you pick up is more like a receipt acknowledgement versus a final thing, because you have to go back and weigh whatever they gave you, right?
No, because that's for our billing with Baker Commodities. I'll give you an example. On average, we charge $50 a head for cows and bulls, $25 for steers and heifers, and $10 for calves. For corporate clients, it's generally $45 a head for the adult livestock and $10 for the calves. So that's about all that's involved with it. It's just a number.
Okay.
Oh, there is one thing I did forget though. A lot of the clients, because the USDA tracks an animal from when it's born to its death, every cow has a tag number. So the corporate clients we have to include the tag numbers so that they can keep track and report to the USDA. So that is one thing I did forget last time.
Okay, but if you're picking up, is that true for every animal, or is that just true for the dairy feedlots? Like, does a non-commercial customer's cow always have a tag on it? No.
Like the backyard stuff, there isn't. It's just for the big operation. Oh, sorry, for commercial operations.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the odd customer that we just pick up a dead cow or something, we just charge them for the pickup. They usually get charged more. It's usually like $100 just because there's no volume, and they generally are out of the way of where the dairies and feedlots are located.
Okay. So I'm not 100% sure about the Bluetooth receipt printing, but I am pretty sure about Wi-Fi receipt printing. Hopefully we can do Bluetooth, but we might end up having to do Wi-Fi, which is a subtle difference. The other feature that we can probably, here, let me start screen sharing here.
Oh, shoot, the screen shut off. I gotta get it back on. Okay.
Okay, so we have two interfaces. Basically, we have one backend SQL database, and we have two interfaces to it. So we have a desktop interface that works on a laptop, Mac, PC, you know, any sort of full screen with a keyboard. I gotta log in here. It's a full screen application. We also have a mobile application that's this guy. Let me, and it would look more like this on your smartphone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So probably what you would be doing on your smartphone. Trying to think of the process. Usually we receive inventory in.
I'm thinking, yeah, receive stock and then select the stock type and then select the provider or the customer and then select the quantity, and that will be issuing a receipt, right? It seems that would be the process.
Maybe it's almost like a purchase order, Ben, where you create a purchase order to the customer, call it, and they wouldn't be customers anymore; they'd be suppliers.
Supplier, right?
So if we did a purchase order to them, it would generate an invoice to them for the amount of the, you know, 2 calves and 3 steer and 2 horses, whatever. Right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can create purchase orders in mobile. You'd have to do it through the desktop. Or I don't think the create capabilities in the mobile for purchase orders.
Maybe we need to. Yeah, maybe we could. Okay. Yeah, I see.
I mean, if you're going to add
search.
something, you could make it much simpler than purchase orders, probably. But
yeah, but the trick is they want an invoice. It's not really an invoice. It's more like a
receipt.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. We just need a numbered receipt so that the client, you know, can keep track. They have a receipt or an invoice number for the day's pickup, and then when I send them the billing invoice for the month, I list the pickups by the day, the invoice or receipt number, and how many head were picked up, and then the price for that day, and then of course the summary for the total invoice.
All right. So I'm still kind of stuck on purchase orders because I think that's the way. So let me, if we created a customer, I'm just going to call it ABC Dairy. I think that's all I need, right? Yeah. And then we go over to inventory. We could create. I don't. Steer. Cow. Calf. And horse. And I guess I should have put money in here. So a horse is $10, or what was a horse?
Horses are $50 if it's a commercial client, and
Yeah, let's just stick with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Let's
otherwise
just
it's
stick
a
with that.
custom price.
Yeah, you can override the pricing in here. So let me. So oh, come on. So a calf was $10 if I remember right.
Yeah.
So serializing. So these serial Inventory Pro has the ability to do serial numbers, which is essentially, you know, with the USDA number. Okay. And I think we might as well make them unique because you could never get the same number twice, right? There's no way a cow would. There's no way a cow would die and then reincarnate and die again, right?
I actually have a feeling they do recycle the numbers, but I'm sure
Really?
it's not going to happen over from within a year.
Boy, that sounds like a database nightmare if they're recycling numbers. I'm going to make them unique, okay?
Okay.
And we have the ability to auto-assign them, but that won't apply because you're going to put them in based on what they find in the field.
Yeah, when they go and pick them up, there's a
Right.
back tag, which is a circular tag that's on the cow that they write down before they load it up.
So let me go back and fix these other two that I made. Do you have a parrot?
Yeah, sorry, there's three, so occasionally you're going to hear them.
That's fine. I have one as well. So I relate to, so a cow was 60 if I remember right.
Oh, sorry, say that again?
Cow was 60, right?
Cow's 50.
Oh, 50?
Yeah.
Now what else did I do? A steer?
Yeah, steer's 25.
I think all of us men on this phone call should be offended that a steer is only 25.
It's less than a cow.
Well, steer is basically half grown and castrated.
Okay. I just
Yeah.
think of a steer as being a castrated bull, but they're smaller,
Yeah,
huh?
but yeah, steers they castrate real young, because if you castrate a bull, an adult bull, you don't get any change in behavior. So they're called proud cut, and they are just as aggressive and nasty as an intact bull. So you do it young.
Okay. So I just created those items: cow, steer, bull, cow, steer, calf, and horse. So if we did a purchase order, and we created a new purchase order, and we picked what did I make? ABC Dairy.
Yeah.
How come it's not here? Oh, I did a customer. I need to do a supplier. Sorry. All right. So anyways, I think that's all I need. So if we go back to creating a purchase order again, now we can pick ABC Dairy. This would probably be the name of your slaughterhouse. that you take them to.
Well,
so
in
I
this
can
case,
go,
it would be a processing plant because they're already dead. So it'd be bigger commodities.
Okay. So let's go back and let's try to make this as real as possible here. So we'll go, I'll save this. Hold on, I got to change this. We'll come back and fix it. So we just made this PO number 7. I'm going to make a warehouse called, so these warehouses, all these lists are user manageable. So you can, what was the name of the processing house again?
Baker,
Commodity.
B-A-K-E-R, and commodities.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, where is it?
Phoenix. It's, I don't think I have the address handy.
All right. So if we go back to the purchase order, we change this. Shoot, hold on. Now you're finding all the things I forget. Let's see. It's a ship to. I think that's all we want. I guess it can't hurt to check all of these off. And this would probably be your home office here. But enough of this. Let's just pick some line items. So what you would do is add whatever you pick up. Oh, I forgot to assign them to that warehouse. So. Yeah. What did I miss, Ben? Why are no line items showing up?
Supplier, maybe? Supplier attention? Who's that? It's probably a system option. Go to admin options and purchasing. And then change filter inventory settings by
Do not filter.
yeah.
Oh, I probably need to mark those as a buy.
I think Zach defaulted. He should have changed it so they all default to buys.
I'll check.
Buys and makes. Buys and sells, I mean.
Sorry for this, guys. It'll just take me a second, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe check to see if it's permitted in that warehouse.
Yeah. So where is a buy? The checkbox for a buy.
Under general.
Let's see it. Do I need to customize the?
I would check first to see if they permitted in the warehouse. That's probably what it is. Probably created them in another warehouse.
I thought he. Yeah.
That's an option, you know. Sample data is set up to restrict.
Oop. I don't know what I did there. Horse, cow, calf. let's just work with those three. So back to purchase orders. This guy. Now we're going to try to buy some of these, or pick up calf, cow, horse. We'll pick up 3 calves, 2 cows, and 1 horse. Okay. We'll click save. And what that does is we can generate what we call a purchase order, okay? And we could, this top would be filled out. We put your, what is it, belly up dead stock logo and information in here. And we can change the format of this, obviously. If you get like a Bluetooth printer that is not 8.5 by 11 inches, if it's some odd format paper, like a roll 3-inch wide, we can just change this. Everything basically comes out as a PDF. So, we can change the layout of the PDF to be whatever you want and then print this out. So, line 1 is calves. There's 3 of them. Line 2 is cows. There's 2 of them. Line 3 is horse. There's 1 of them. And it generates, you owe ABC Dairy now $180. Okay? So we can print this out, but we could also email them a receipt.
Yeah, most of them still want to do everything by paper. Unfortunately,
that's fine. You could do both. Yeah, you can do both, or just one or the other. It doesn't matter to us. But this, this is the basic receipt that you would give them, and then it's just a matter of getting this in the form. Maybe you don't want these barcodes.
Yeah, they
and
would.
the other
Sure.
Yeah, and the other thing we could do, let's see, how would I split these up? And I guess what we would do is just do one. Can you do the same item multiple times on a PO, Ben?
Yeah, I think you can.
Let me add line.
Again, I think that's just another option.
Yeah. The reason I'm
it's an option.
Let me go to options, purchase orders, allow duplicate items.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I would do that, if we go back to our purchase order here, is so that we put, like on the line note, the number of the ear tag or whatever it is. Here. And then we could add, let's just add another line. Calf, cow, horse. Okay. All right. So now, when we go back to look at this, I believe the notes show up on each line.
No, they don't. They only show up if it's a special item. If it's a one-time buy, notes is used to specify the description. I mean, that doesn't mean they couldn't show up, but that's how it's used now.
Okay. So we would change this form so that that number showed up here. And we'd probably rename this column to be, ear tag or animal number or whatever that field is called for you guys.
We just put tag numbers because it could be an ear tag or a back tag. It depends.
Okay. So we would just put the number here, and then change this column so it's the number that of the animal. All right.
Okay. Now, how is that going to be entered in on a mobile device? Because these guys are not going to be driving around with a laptop.
Right. So here's our mobile. We don't allow creating any orders, huh, man?
Not mobile.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change it.
I think they changed it to view work orders, but I mean, aren't they going to call like a dispatcher to take the order?
Yeah, but they're not gonna have the. Can you modify an order on mobile now? Because they need to put in the ear tag when they get there.
Well, you can receive against a purchase order, so it'd just be changing the receive screen on the PO.
Can you add a line?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to make some changes for you, but I
You
don't.
should be able to look up the purchase order here. You can see it. You got to change your warehouse, your manufacturing.
I have to log out or something.
You got to log out to download the. Yeah, get it. Clear the cache. Now you should see the PO.
Forget what it is.
I don't even think you need to. You can go just into purchase orders, and I think you'd see it.
Go just into purchase orders. Isn't that where I went? Orders, search purchase orders.
View purchase orders.
Oh, okay. Okay. So here's the order, and you know, the method Ben was talking about that I don't think is going to work would be if the feedlot, the feedlot or the dairy called in what you were going to pick up before you got there. You could have the order waiting for them, but that probably doesn't work, right? I mean, when they get there.
No, what happens is, like I handle the administrative end. The operations end is GD, and he gets the calls for. Well, some of the clients are just daily, so they have a route, but others they call in, and GD covers the west side of Phoenix, and Frank covers the east side of Phoenix, of the valley. Or sorry, the valley, I shouldn't say. Not there. Everything's outside of Phoenix proper, but and then they go out, and then they would write up the invoice / receipt. Then, so they would have to be able to create the purchase order
Right.
On site and enter all the information, and then I would get everything to do the administrative end.
Right. Yeah, I think we need to. Unless you see something I don't see, Benny, I think we'd have to modify it so they can create a purchase order on the tablet. You got a different suggestion on how could you do it through a work order?
It doesn't work the same. I mean, it just works the same way. I mean, a work order issues stock. It doesn't receive it. So, I mean, either they could use like a small Lenovo Windows computer and just run Inventory Pro online. They could do it right in Inventory Pro online.
And these, how do I put it without being mean? These aren't the sharpest guys that do this work. I guess to put it mildly, we got to keep this real simple. That's why what the mobile part was basically just have one little screen, put in the info. Yeah, there's no way they're going to handle it. I mean, this took GD a year just to learn how to use a smartphone.
Yeah. The other thing is I'm sure it's pretty dirty work. So a big tablet.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's why I wanted to keep it small. That's the other problem. I mean, especially during this time of year, which is the rainy season.
Right. The other thing you could do,
if they did a direct receipt, and they just put in, a common adjustment number, we could probably do something on the back end.
Make
where
a
they
PO
just
form.
yeah, or just, I mean, the receipt would be grouped by the adjustment number. So if they use the same adjustment number for the pickup, we could link all of those line items together easily at the end of the month for billing, and then they could just, individually receive each one.
How did we do it for Donan, Benny? Is Donan in JP Mobile now?
They have their own version. They don't receive. They don't do anything with receiving through it. They just move evidence.
Huh.
Yeah, all of their.
Okay.
I would think you just create a simple receiving screen and just receive it in and use the same adjustment number for to batch them all together.
Okay. All right. So let's abandon this.
It could kind of look like the way the receiving labels work then, if they're all in the grid together, then we can, it doesn't matter whether it comes in as a purchase order or just, individual lines at receipt. We just basically group them together by the product ID.
So what Ben is saying is to use this direct receipt screen and
try more options. Does he have a reference under there? Yeah. So you'd give it a common reference number.
Like
doesn't matter.
Yeah. ABC,
we have the
ABC Dairy 123, or the date maybe. ABC.
Can that be a drop down or something like that? Maybe.
Are we talking about like the number for the daily receipt, or that's what you're calling the purchase order?
Right.
Yeah. All we're using is just I think it's like 5-digit numbers that just that are already pre-printed on them, but basically just.
That's perfect.
Here, I'll just pull out an invoice. Yeah. It's pretty simple. It's just something so that the dairy can reference on and compare with their statement. Oh, 6-digit random number.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be our first one. We're going to receive a cow, and I don't know if that'll get me in trouble. This is the ear tag, the serial lot number.
Oh, and then the location. Can we have the provider, supplier location as the location? That way, show there.
Oh yeah, yeah. We could. Yeah, what we could do here. Now we're getting creative on the fly, but that's perfectly fine. So we can make locations in the warehouse. ABC
Are there different suppliers?
Yeah. Yeah, just the supplier name. Jeez, come on, Ben. Terrible with this stuff. Give me another one. What's one of your? Give me another customer of yours.
Oh, an actual client name?
Yeah.
Let's see, Boschma Farms. BOSCHMA Farms.
All right. So if we flip back to here, I don't suppose if
he
I
doesn't add them that often, he can just be, yeah,
he doesn't add them very often, and they can add them back in the home office, before. Yeah. So let me log out again so the lists get repopulated. Log back in. Phoenix. Receive stock. Calf. ABC Dairy. More options. Ear tag is some strange number. The reference is a 6-digit number. Receive. Oh.
Can we take that one off? Like remove the reason?
Yeah, you could.
So it's not required?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you think you might have need for it, David.
No, the only reason why we're going there is because it's dead.
The reason's dead. Yeah, so you don't need that.
There's no multiple reasons. Those guys are picking up dead stock. That's it.
It's not going to let me finish here because that reason code's not there. So, Benny, why? Reason code. Where are the reason codes?
I think they're under a system. List or something like that. If you go into the receiving grid, you can get to it there. Oh, you're in purchase orders now. Oh,
Yeah, but I could receive against this purchase order, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could, or you could just open a direct receive screen. Positive
So here's
codes. I don't know why they're not showing up. Unless he's got them assigned to a warehouse, maybe. Click on the pencil icon and see if supplier shipment is. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they're not in mobile.
Alright. So, I mean, we could easily make one here. Good. And then make that the default. But also, just basically take it off of that screen. And we would also default the number of units to 1. So it's really simple. They just pick the animal that they're picking up, the location they're picking up, the ear tag, and the 6-digit number, and then they click receive. But there's a bug here for some reason in our test system that this isn't going to let me finish.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just it should work. Just going to bring it up on my phone and see if it's there.
I was actually pretty proud of myself. I was going pretty strong here until I hit this. But that should be pretty simple, I would think, for your guys in the field.
Oh,
just do this
actually,
direct receive.
How are you going to enter in the tag numbers? For example, they pick up 3 calves. We're going to have 3 separate tag numbers. How do you put in 3 separate?
Yeah,
they're
going to have to put the calf in 3 times. So they would click receive here for this one, and then they would pick calf again. It'll default to 1 unit, and then they're going to have to put in the new tag number, the new ear tag number, and then click receive again. They have to do that for each animal.
Okay, this is still part of the same receipt or purchase order for the demonstration.
Right, and it's all tagged by this reference number here. So what's going to happen is every time you click receive against this reference number, back in this system, there's an audit trail. Actually, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can get through this. Let me do a receipt here since the receipt over there is not working. Okay. Oh, shoot. Yikes. I was doing so well.
I don't think you're going to want to make that a required field anyways, because some of the cows don't have tags.
Yeah, that was the other question I had.
Okay.
Not every one of them has it.
Okay. So we can make it an optional field.
Yeah.
Should I change this remark to be that same number?
I don't think it matters, really, for this purpose.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Just delete those two.
I could screw up a...
Holy moly. Man, it's blowing out there.
Okay, finally. So see this adjustment number here? This is what Benson is going to key off of to automatically make a purchase order out to these different farms or dairies, feedlots or dairies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So each pickup they do is going to have a sequential number that's going to increase. And we'll just make a back-end automatic purchase order creation. And then they'll be able to, you know, back over here, if we go to the, we'll give you a print option in here to, I don't know, maybe we'll put it right on the receive stock screen so it's easy for your guys to get at. That'll print out a receipt.
Yeah, we need to, do best to keep it all on the one screen.
Yeah, so we'll just, you know what we could do? We'll get rid of the reason code. We'll get rid of this RFID field. I don't even know if you need to show the cost. Remarks is meant to be a note. You know, I don't know, you know, like, do they ever make notes like a three-legged calf or something, or I don't know.
Not for that, but for example, one of our clients, Pinnell Feed, we have a contract with them where everything is straight $14 a head, regardless of age. And they require the tag numbers, but in some cases, the tag numbers will be missing, and we have to specifically identify that fact. Otherwise,
the people
so they could say in accounting will treat it as an accounting error. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other thing we can do is back here in the system, I should almost turn this up back over to Ben. There's suppliers catalogs. And in here, when you get special pricing like that, you can actually put your items in here for each supplier with the amount you're going to pay them for each, you know. So I forget what it was, what the name of that farm or feedlot you just said where everything was $14. You can come in here. Yeah, you can come in here for them and make everything $14, so that when they go back to this screen, it'll automatically put 14 here instead of the default 10.
Right.
So you can set up all your pricing agreements in this back end system.
Okay.
So when they're in the field, it's all populated right or correctly.
Yeah.
That's the way to do that. Because it doesn't sound like you have very many items. You have, you know, maybe 5 or 10 different items: cow, calf, steer, horse. I don't know.
Is there
Will
a
you
way
pick
to
up
do is there a way to do a custom one? Because occasionally we do get some stuff backyard, like a goat or, some other livestock.
Right.
Is there a way to add a custom one for a client?
Yeah.
Because, once a month every month we'll get, a couple of those where, someone
Right.
pet
Okay.
something died that isn't a dog or a cat.
Yeah, we do actually. We have.
Special one time.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
not showing in the. It's not showing in the drop down. That's all.
Will be like an other or something? We can do an other
No,
item?
there's
we have a
special one time.
Is it under
Yeah,
purchase
special
orders, Benny?
Yeah, you'll see it there. If you go to add a line, you'll see it up at the top. That's where it's currently
Supposed to
used.
Yeah,
But there is one, and then they could just use the remark column for the whatever it is.
What it is, right? And you can override the price. So you could either leave this blank, or 0, or they can type in whatever they want.
They won't know, will they?
Yeah, they probably won't know. So I'd be more inclined to leave it 0.
When someone calls, GD will give them a price, and then if he goes and picks it up, he knows the price. But if Frank's got to go because it's East Side, he just calls Frank and tells him to pick up a horse and charge him $100 or $300 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would think in the field they'd have the option if they knew they can put in whatever it is or leave it blank. It's completely up to you. If they know, they can fill it in. If not, and they want to get going, they can just leave it blank.
No, they will know when they pick up because they'll actually take payment directly for those cases, and I need them to fill it in so that I know once it comes in what it's what it's about.
Okay. Well, cool. So, I mean, that's pretty much all there is. I apologize for, some of this not working here on the fly, but I don't think you have too many changes to make this work. We do have a QuickBooks interface as well.
Oh yeah, how do I get all this information?
It'll automatically flow through to QuickBooks. So we'll create purchase orders and they'll show up in QuickBooks, and then you'll just pay the purchase order.
Okay. Well, actually, we don't buy the dead stock from them. They pay us to take the dead stock.
That's a subtle difference.
Okay.
You may not think you're buying a dead horse, but to us it looks like you are. It's the same transaction. Basically, you're creating a purchase order to whatever the dairy, ABC Dairy, for whatever dead stock you picked up on that day, and then you just in QuickBooks you're going to want to have it show up as a purchase order, so it'll be a payable.
It'll make it over as an invoice instead for them.
Right.
I mean, that's a minor change. It would require a change to the interface, but that's not
but it's not really an invoice, Ben. It's a payable. I mean, let's just make I don't want to get that confused. It's not like the dairy is going to pay these guys. They're paying the dairy.
No, dairy's paying us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
picked up the animal.
Yeah, we charge them to pick up the dead stock and take it to bakers.
But they pay you upon pickup, right, David?
No,
or do they pay you later?
Pay us. Yeah, we invoice once a month and then they pay us.
Okay. There you go. Issue invoice. That's actually pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want it to be? So is it a shipping order?
No, because you can't ship what you don't have. I mean, you'd have to receive it in and then ship it out. It's going to be custom. I mean, basically all we do is we grab these receipts, and in the QuickBooks interface, we bundle them up and create an invoice in QuickBooks.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the easiest way to do it. Keep customizations to a minimum. Otherwise, then you're creating purchase orders, converting them to shipping orders, and I don't think that they need to do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it'll just show up as an invoice, and now I guess what you want though is you want us to. I mean, you're only invoicing monthly.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
But you must be invoicing when you pick up a random horse from a farmer.
Yes.
You must invoice that the day you get it, right?
That's correct. Yeah. In those cases, they pay on the spot.
Okay. So we'll
occasionally, like for example, we have Sierra Negra farms. We only pick up, a couple of times a year from them because we know them. We just invoice them, at the end of the month. But that's kind of a unique case. Most people are people we've never had any dealings with before, and we're just picking up a dead horse, and then they pay for at the time of pickup.
Right, right. So I wonder if we should put like sometimes they'll literally probably pay you with a check right then and there.
Yeah, check or cash. So it's more just a receipt of payment.
So we should put a checkbox on here that it's like paid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would work.
Right. Yeah, I think we just modify, we could change this RFID field to be like a paid yes or no.
Yeah, like if it's cash or if it's paid on,
right.
on delivery or pickup.
Right. Okay.
So there's no need for RFID on this one.
So, I mean, we're going to have to make some changes, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Right, Ben?
Yep.
And then we'll have to do some testing for the printing the receipt part.
Right. Do you care if it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper for the receipt, or do you want a smaller, like,
No, we're planning on using a portable printer.
Yeah,
we could probably get a brother printer also, which is 8.5 by 11. Is that what you're thinking about, Ben?
It would be the easiest for us. I mean, it's just a regular sheet of paper.
For brother, which is like a pocket jet printer, which is very big compact printers that use sheets. That
right.
might also be an option. And they're not going to be much more expensive. Actually, they're about the same price as a mobile printer.
I would think it would be so much simpler. Yeah.
It'd be a problem for them because they need to put stuff in the cab. And basically, there's only room for 2 seats. So if they have that, then they don't have any room for anything else. Because I've seen like the portable, like the Canon ones. I've actually seen those at like Best Buy and Office Depot. We were originally going to do something with that and just play with Google Forms, but it was just too bulky and just didn't give enough room for the drivers for their own stuff.
Is it one of these?
Oh, let's see.
It's a mobile inkjet. You had that mobile inkjet right there, yeah.
Yeah, it was similar to that. Actually, it probably was that.
Yeah, that's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper again, though, so I'm good with it. You just stick blank paper in here and it comes out.
Oh no, sorry. The point of it was that we measured it and it was going to take up too much space in the cabin of the truck.
Okay. So let me go back.
I'm sorry, say that? Say it again.
Too much space for the paper? Is that what we're saying?
No, it was just too much room for having the printer and having everything. It was just going to become, it was going to have difficult to keep, to keep clean, keep separate, not having things get crumpled up, or because we basically have to install the printer onto the passenger seat.
Right. So something more like this, which is a Zebra Bluetooth USB printer.
Yeah, that's actually how we got started. Is my wife found that one and actually called them, and then they put us in touch with you guys for the software.
Right.
Yeah, we can do it.
And that one's I think that was a 4-inch. We can even do a 3-inch if that works for you, Ben. I think David was saying the 3-inch will be okay. That will be a little more compact.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't
There's not a whole information being printed, so.
Right.
Yeah, that would be that.
No, we just need it. It can't be like a receipt from a store that size, because it'll be too small and too easy for the dairies to lose.
Right.
I'd still be in favor of
4-incher.
No, in here on the suppliers, we have an email address. So I'd be inclined to, when you tear it off and give them the receipt, we send them an email as well if we can. What the heck? It's free, it's cheap, it's just another way of making sure that.
Well, surprisingly, most of these guys, except for like the bigger commercial operations, just still work in paper. That's what's been a problem for us. Otherwise, most of this I could have solved with just Google Docs.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but printing to the printer, I don't. We're going to want to test it first, but I don't think it's a problem. You have Android phones, you said, right?
Yeah, because I'm guessing it'd be a bit of a pain to put it into the App Store for. Well, plus those guys are carrying Android phones.
Are they? Do you know what they are? Are they Samsung Galaxies or Notes or?
Oh, GD's is the. He just had to get replaced one because he broke it. I think it's the new Droid that Verizon's selling.
Okay. Shouldn't really matter. I mean, we have plenty of Android phones here.
And you're printing from the cloud, Ben? So does that mean the printer has to have connection to the internet, or can it be?
No. This would be a Bluetooth kind of connection, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, because reception can be spotty once you get out there.
They'd have to be within 10 or so feet of the printer when they go to print.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Because they normally, after they would after they load whatever they picked up, they would just go in the front or go back into the truck, fill it out, and then go drop it off at the office. The current receipt.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, it looks like the next step is to do some testing, figure out, kind of get an idea of what it would take to make the customization part of it.
Right.
Yeah, and let me know, because one of the owners is already balking at the price. So I told them to hang on and let me see what it is that you guys are actually doing. So we'll need a little more detail, because the one owner is basically saying, why can't we figure this out between like Google Docs and what QuickBooks offers on their apps? But I wanted to let them know that they don't exactly have things for a desktop pickup company.
Right. The hard part is the the printing or the receipt part, which is requires the communication to a printer, and most of the online stuff doesn't have that feature, and also the QuickBooks interface. That will be not something you can get out of those online things.
Yeah. So that's where I am with the one owner right now.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, because from what I can see, I mean, Google Docs you can do printing, but the Google Cloud Print, I don't know if Zebra would even have any communication with Google Cloud Print, that Zebra printer.
Yeah, that would require a little bit of a programming to set it up, because the mobile printers work a little bit different than Windows printers. They don't have like a driver. It's more like So. All right, so we'll get back to you on that once the Bens get back to us on that part. So and then Ben will get you a printer to test that with.
Okay, great.
Okay, and if you can, can you write up an estimate so that I can have something for to send over, because we do have 4 owners, so I got to keep them in the loop on what's going on.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can just send it to my david.pepper@bellyupdeadstock.com email address.
Will do. You got that information, Mark?
I do. I have it all.
All right. Excellent. All right. We'll do that then. And so after that, let me know any questions on any of that, and we'll go over all the process for you.
Okay, and you're the Mark that I have been speaking to on email, correct?
I'm Mark that I've been corresponding.
Yes, that's
okay.
We have to work
yeah,
I know.
I'm not sure which Mark it is.
We got 4 Marks over here.
Okay, so if I reply to the Mark that I have on email, it will get the information to you guys anyway, regardless, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, well, I think that, because that's all I can think of at the moment. So.
Yeah, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to email Mark or myself, and then we'll be happy to answer for you.
Okay, perfect.
David, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and thank you very much for that demo. That now I can have a better way of explaining how the system is going to work and why it's unique. So I definitely appreciate that a lot.
I recorded the meeting so I can upload it so you can replay it. You might want us to clean up our act a little bit and then do another quick demo for you where we run through it really quick and everything works. That's up to you. Or we could even do it offline with the 2 Marks and then give you a little bit cleaner video that you could show to the owners on how it works. We could even show it flowing through to QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
that we'll work that out. Yeah, because you guys are based in Buckeye, right?
No,
we're in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh, Phoenix. Okay, gotcha.
I live in Buckeye.
Yeah, I remember one of you was Buckeye based.
I live in Buckeye, but yeah, the office, headquarters in Phoenix.
Okay. Okay, I understand now. Okay, excellent. All right, well, we'll go from there. I think on this one, I think you're right. This demo will probably just, because it was more of getting things figured out.
Right.
Yeah. And once everything's going, then I can show it. That will probably make a far better impression.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate the demo. And then, we look forward to hearing more from you guys on that.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Perfect.
Thanks,
all right, you guys take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.